So today we are talking about something very interesting. We are going to see examples of justices, what we term as justice in the Bible and in our modern laws. So last time we were seeing the theoretical part, the general part or overview of justices that are in the Bible and in our modern laws. So today let's talk about those examples. You are at the Legal Stamp once again, and thank you for viewing this video again, and hope you learn, or let's hope our videos are very helpful to you. And another thing, here we compare the Bible with our modern laws. We see the similarities between the two authorities, and another thing, we also see the differences. Then we make recommendations such that we can help the people to see the view of God and the view of man, or how far mankind has gone. So today we're going to start with the punishments or the penalties in our laws. Number one, we're going to talk about murder. When murder has been committed and one has been found guilty and convicted, what is the magnitude of the punishment? So in the Bible we see murder is punishable by death. It's a capital offense, therefore they give it a capital a penalty, which is death. That one is reflected under Exodus chapter 21 verse 12. We see life goes with life. And also in our modern laws now, under the Penal Code Act section 172, we see the punishment of murder on paper is death. But unfortunately, that is not the case. We find out in the case of Attorney General and Susan Chigula in 2006. It was a Constitutional Appeal number 3. We see and that death penalty was suspended in Uganda, and in many countries, actually few countries enforce death penalty today. So it was suspended here. But in the Old Testament, we find out that the judges who were appointed, or every person who killed another with malice aforethought, were put to death. But today we don't see it. It was suspended. The reasons they give, that hanging as a mode of executing death penalty, it is inhuman, degrading, and cruel. So, and also we see in the Bible, a person who killed another was supposed to be hanged. So we find that the framers of the Penal Code Act, or the laws of Uganda, including section 99 of the Trial and Indictment Act, we find that hanging, it was a very good thing. It's an idea from God. But today we've seen people coming, generations change, and they have phased out the death penalty, despite the fact that it is still on paper or in our laws. But no one since 2002 was ever executed in Uganda or put to death. So that is a difference of a justice system. So the standard of the justice system in the Bible is extremely higher than what the human government or what mankind has established. So someone is saying, why is the Bible's justice extremely high? If someone has killed another, should be put to death, and in our modern laws, someone should be imprisoned. So you are asking, why is God extremely rude? No, that is the real justice. God is always one step ahead a human being. That means men are more loving than God. That means there is an injustice somewhere. That's why people are being killed every day. Why? Because there is no fear of God. And as we know in the book of Proverbs, we see that the Bible says that fear make men to depart from evil. But today, murder has not been, or homicides have not been deterred at all. So number 2, we are going to see another offense of kidnapping. So I want to focus on criminal law. There are very many laws, family, land, corporate, but let us first see the common one, the criminal part aspect of it, how justice is being disseminated. So also when you see under kidnapping or abduction, or with intent to confine a person or sell that person in slavery or servitude. So we are going to see that in the Penal Code Act, if a person has kidnapped another or abducted another, the punishment is 10 years or not exceeding 10 years imprisonment. Yes. Now, meaning in our modern laws, if someone has kidnapped another, the punishment is imprisonment. And also in the Bible, when you see in the Bible, and it is Exodus chapter 21 still, you're going to find that if someone has abducted another or kidnapped another or is trying to sell another person to slavery, stealing a person, you'll be put to death. So it's a capital offense. So we are seeing also the punishment of the justice system in the Bible is extremely higher than the man's system, because the ways of God are not our ways. That God is extremely holier than a man. That's why still kidnaps, abductions with the, you see the government or a member of government has taken another person with a drone. We have a drone system here in Uganda. I don't know how it is in your country there. So that's why there's no deterrence. But if you are found with a person stolen, kidnapped, abducted, and you're put to death, then the neighbor will hear and will never try ever to tread in such waters of kidnapping another. So that's why we are seeing, if we had enforced God's way of punishment and justice, this world would be a very peaceful and a better place. When we talk about theft, let's say, how is justice handled in the Bible when it comes to stealing or thefting vis-a-vis in our modern laws? Now, theft could be on, let's say, someone has stolen your phone, someone has stolen your cattle, someone has stolen your vehicle, or a machine, to name it. In the Bible, under Exodus chapter 22, verse 9, that offender had to pay double. You pay double. You stole one phone, you pay 2. You steal one cattle, you bring 2. One cow, you bring 2 cattle. Now, and another thing, when we see in our Bible, I mean in our modern laws, if you see if a person has stolen, that person will be put in prison or locked in a cage for a term not exceeding 10 years. That is the general punishment of theft, 10 years and below. So we are finding that the modern laws has provided or created something we do as we call prison or imprisonment, which has never been a mode of punishment or justice dissemination in the Bible. You're asking yourself, where in the Bible does the Bible provide for imprisonment of an offender? It is not there. We are going to see as we conclude this video, why has man established imprisonment and God does not provide for the same? Now, the restitutional mode of the Bible, when someone has committed theft, you pay double. And if at all you cannot afford to pay double, you don't have estate, number one, they will confiscate the thing you have stolen, meaning they take it back. If you have stolen, let's say, 1 cow, they will take that cow, and if you cannot meet the second cow, you cannot afford it, what you're going to do, you are going to work out. You will work out that amount. If it is 1 million or 2 M, you're going to work out that money. Meaning, the victim, someone who has lost that cow or that property, can choose to sell you to a certain man who is in need of labor. Then that man, in exchange of payment, meaning the money you would have paid him, that boss or that man who has hired that offender will pay you, let's say 1 million. Then in exchange for you, you're going to deliver this offender, then work out this penalty. So meaning you're going to have this offender working on your farm, then you pay the victim the money he or she was supposed to pay. That is the justice system in the Bible. And what if that one is impracticable, it's not able to be achieved? Then you take the offender at your farm or in your field, he works for you for the term until that payment is made in full. Assuming all factors are difficult, now this is what happens. In Deuteronomy chapter 25, verse 2 to 3, we find that there was the element of flogging, stripes, meaning if you do not have any money to pay back the thing you've stolen, the judges were to put you down and they give you 40 stripes on your back. They give you 1, 2, 20, 30 stripes on your buttocks, such that you can feel the pain. And you know, when there is pain, there is fear. 40 canes are much. Flogging someone 40 stripes. Next time he will say, no, I will not steal again. I will not steal again. That is how God had prepared the mode of restitution and in offenses of theft and stealing. But in our modern laws, you find they will lock you in the cage. Now, can we first see why man invented imprisonment? And yet it was not one of the modes of justice system with God. Number one, it is a pagan idea. We see that people who were the Gentiles, let's say the Gentiles, people who did not know God, they are the ones that invented prison. Number two, it is a Roman Empire mode of punishing offenders. And another thing, it was a Greek way of punishing offenders. They take someone, they lock them in the cage, which we call the prison today, or jail. Then for that term, until instead of you paying back, rather you stay in prison for years. So instead of paying, rather you serve years in prison or that cage. Why is it there? Now, imprisonment is not to benefit the victim. We find that it is a selfish mode of benefiting another person. Me, I would even regard it as a mode of theft. So there are very many dangers associated with locking someone in the cage or in prison. We've seen that you go when you are a thief of hens or you steal small things, but when you come back, you'll be capable of stealing big things, even robbing a bank or stealing motor vehicles or stealing big things, big equipments. Why? Because you've been brainwashed by the fellow inmates. And another thing, another disadvantage of imprisonment, I'm suspecting the reason as to why God never thought about imprisonment in one mode of justices he prescribed, it is because it takes away liberty. A person who has been in prison can never enjoy liberty at all. You see them, your brother, your father, your friend is locked in prison. They cannot move, they cannot see the sun, they are like restricted. But if they were flogged and they go, 40 kids go, or pay double, you miss out something. Instead of locking someone there, then they will never have a time to reflect and reform. It also creates idleness. You see people who come out from prison, instead of being extremely hardworking, they will be very, very lazy, slothful in business. And it's also inhuman. If you know how people sleep in prison, you would never desire to go there. It may seem like a very effective mode of punishment, but no, it is inhuman and cruel and torturous. They sleep on the floor. The lice and bed bugs come and attack them. The hygiene is extremely wanting. It's very poor condition. So you don't even desire to have that one. But if you were to pay double restitution, you are flogged, or you go and work out that damage you've caused, it would be better. So there will be a benefit to the victim, but now it benefits the state. So the pre-imprisonment, it is what modern laws have brought. Now someone may be wondering, is there any hope? Could we see any hope? Yes, we need men who know the truth. Go and change our laws and enact new laws in the legislature or in the parliament. Yes, we can have clear laws that resonate with God's mind, which is real just. Why do we front and extremely exalt God's law? Because God is the creator. He knows us. So you, the created thing or the creature, if you make the laws that are repugnant or inconsistent with what God has put, yours are going to be inferior. That's why we are seeing crimes are being rampant every day, and you have case backlogs in courts of law. But if we had laws that were resonating with God's justice system or mind, then the crimes would have been regulated. And another possible way to achieve this kind of the godly justice system is the millennial kingdom. When Christ comes back and comes again, we are going to see in the 1,000 years, as 1,000 years of his reign, he's going to be enforcing the Old Testament law, or the Torah, the first 5 books of the Bible, the Genesis law, the Exodus law, the Leviticus law, the Numbers law, the Deuteronomy law, it is going to be the law of the land, and Satan will be chained for 1,000 years in the bottomless pit, never to deceive any man. So we're going to see that Christ Jesus is going to rule with a rod of iron, with a hand of iron, iron hand, such that we can see peace is restored here. If we do not achieve it today, we will eventually achieve it then, because we shall have the Prince of Peace. So that is the brief highlight. This video is not exhaustive at all. I was just trying to walk you through examples of justices we see in the Bible and in a modern law. Hope you've learned one thing or two. If this video has been helpful somehow to give you an insight, then you can recommend it to another person. Thank you for watching this video. Have a blessed night or have a blessed day wherever you are. Bye bye.